Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host out of Alexandria, Virginia, Andrew Becker. On today's episode, Jarrod, we were just talking about this. We've had to reschedule like 20 times, it seems like. Finally got to do it. Please help me welcome Jarrod Frankum, who is the owner of Electrum Properties and an AI entrepreneur. I want to get into that. You mentioned you're trying to implement AI everywhere that you can, but welcome, Jarrod. Excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm bummed I didn't get to go see you in Orlando, but I'm super stoked that we finally got this booked.
Yeah, me too. I think we actually met in Nashville. I remember we sat in the front row together
That's
back
right.
in, was that November, December?
October.
Whenever it was.
October, November.
Yeah, and then we, flash forward to May. So took quite some time to get on each other's calendars.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Jarrod, let's dive kind of right into it, dude. Give us like a high level overview of what Electrum Properties, what do you do? How do you do it?
Yeah, so we are a specialized home buyer in Lubbock, Texas. So we look for anyone who's wanting to sell fast. So we typically do like wholesale deals, or we'll buy fix and flip houses that are problem houses, even stuff like when there's no equity, especially like in the current market now where home values have kind of drawn backwards, at least in Lubbock. And so we're working with banks on doing short sales. So all sorts of creative ways to sell your house other than just like A, ultra cheap cash buyer, or B, you list on the market. And so we help work with homeowners on what are the different ways that they could go through a sale, or maybe renting it out's best, or whatever. That's what we do. So we wholesale quite a lot of them. We fix and flip, and then of course we try to keep whatever we can as rentals. But oftentimes it's not the right fit.
Yeah, so what I heard from that is it's the untraditional ways of helping homeowners or sellers, excluding like the traditional, hey, you buy it from me directly, and or like you're at a brokerage, help me list it to get the most amount of money. You kind of work different avenues in respects.
Yeah. We do a lot of what we call the menu offer, where we give them like 2 or 3 options to pick from, because our thought is like we can have an awesome cash price, we can have an awesome terms, creative finance price, or like we've got listing referrals, whatever. So we can say, hey, which of these 3, or whatever, however the deal works, just as an example, which of these 3 would be the best for you. And what ends up happening is actually pick one of them that we still get to work with. And so oftentimes it ends up being between a cash offer or selling it on owner finance, like a down payment or whatever sort of terms. And we do all sorts of stuff. Like I've included cars to the seller as part of a deal before. I've worked out movers before. Like we just do all sorts of stuff.
But creative financing to make things work.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jarrod, can we take a kind of a step back before diving into that? And I'd love to hear how that happened, the car thing. But like, where did you start in real estate? Like, how did you become like not obscure in the sense of like it's weird, but like the non-traditional guy? How did you learn this and acquire these skills? Like what led you to get into real estate in the first place? And then how did you transition to that?
Yeah. I always wanted to be in real estate, even as a kid. I knew I wanted to get into it. I used to watch like the HGTV channel back in the early 2000s. And back then it wasn't like Home Flipper channel. It was like more like how to add shutters to your house and make it look cool, or how to build a raised garden planter bed. It was like how to improve your house.
That kind of show. Yeah.
Yeah. How to whatever. And I was always fascinated about improving your home. And I would do that kind of stuff with my dad. He used to take me as a kid every first Saturday of every month to the kids' builder's workshop where you go and build things. And so home improvement was always in my life. I've got a degree in mechanical engineering, of all things. I have no idea why. I just went to college and that's what I picked, and I just finished. Love what I do now. I prefer this a million times over doing engineering. However, after college, I had an opportunity to do campus ministry. And so I did that in Brazil originally. And so I was back in 2018. When I came back to America, long story short, I came back to America and thought, well, now's the time to get started into real estate if I ever wanted to do it. And I had been reading books and kind of listening to podcasts, just kind of like keeping it in the background of my life, because I knew I'd at some point wanted to buy and fix and flip or whatever. And 2019 was my chance. And so I just started, and I had no clue what I was doing other than, well, if I want to buy a house, I should probably know what neighborhoods are like. So I got on my skateboard and I would skateboard up and down the streets, just looking for houses that are beat up, probably because the beat up ones I could buy easier. That's what my thought at the time.
Yeah.
And I would handwrite letters and send them mail in just the hopes that someone would respond to me one day. And sure enough, someone did. And that was the introduction of like actually doing this as a business rather than it being just an idea.
Very cool. And at that point, it was just you. You were like, I'm assuming a teenager, like early 20s at the time, getting into this skate. You mentioned a skateboard. That's why I assumed. But like,
So during college, I was really big into longboarding, really big into it. And I would race and all sorts of stuff. 2019, I was 27. So not early 20s, I was 27, but I still had it. And so, but at the time I had come back when I was doing campus ministry in Brazil, I was living on $500 a month. And so like I had literally had nothing. Like when I came back to America, I spent my last dollars on a plane ticket and was like trying to figure it out. And then I ended up doing campus ministry again in Lubbock, my area. But during that in between time, I had nothing. And so I had what little money I had, I used on letters, and the price of gas, like fluctuating up and down, like 3-5 cents, depended whether I could go anywhere. And so what I did to save money was I would drive to the middle of the neighborhood, pull my skateboard out of the trunk, and then skateboard up and down all the streets because it didn't cost anything.
Yeah. So you did skateboarding for dollars.
Yes.
Yeah. You should trademark that. That's good. Skateboardingfordollars.com. So okay. So you got into HGTV. Really weird side story, dude. I don't know if I shared this with you when we met in person, but HGTV was also the reason that me and my business partner got into real estate.
No way.
We were trying to figure out. We were watching stuff like Flip This House or like My Vacation, whatever those HGTV ones were when they were very popular back in the day. So it's funny that you kind of got your start there too. But okay, so now back to you though. So you're skateboarding for dollars, handwriting notes to save money, and someone replied to you. And what the heck did you do at that point?
One, I was like freaking out. They had sent me an email. I was in the middle of church. And like, wait, someone emailed me? I made this Electrum properties at Gmail and I thought like, no man, no one's gonna respond to me. It doesn't even have a real email. It's a Gmail account. Like this is, but I just did it anyway. And sure enough, someone responded. My first one, it went nowhere. They, I went through and had to the house was so bad. They had a beehive in the wall of their living room, like a live exposed beehive. Like in the wall.
They
lived there. Yeah, it was this crazy situation.
That sounds pretty
She was
nuts.
like a witch, and the house like was full of trash. You had to like walk over. And anyway,
been there, man.
Crazy. I mean, we've all seen these stories. And it's crazy. They're still like happening. It's not like all those houses everyone's already got. Like there's people who are buying a house right now, and they're starting their hoarder house journey, so to speak.
Yeah.
So this business is not going anywhere, even though the market's tough. Like, it's not like it was, COVID era. But she laughed me out of the house because my offer was like a quarter of what she thought she would get. But that's what I needed to make. I offered like 23 grand on this house. But that's what we had to do. So, but I left the house just stoked because I made an offer on the house. Like I'm actually doing this. It didn't work this time, but I'm doing this. Like this is what it takes. I just got to make more offers. And I remember being in church. I got that email, and this guy had a house. It was a triplex actually, and it needed all sorts of work. And I didn't want to be a wholesaler. I wanted to buy and hold whatever. I didn't even know about wholesaling, but I didn't have any money. I didn't know any of this. I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I had always heard about the 70% rule and this and that. And so I had figured out kind of guessing, and I just made an offer. Sure enough, he took it. I cannot believe he took it. And so I went to the Lubbock real estate groups, the investor association, and told people about my deal. And I had no clue I was getting any money to do this. All I knew was I had 30 days to figure it out.
What was your strategy for this particular one? Were you going to wholesale it, or did you not even know what wholesaling was? Like, what were you planning to do with it?
No, I wanted to buy it.
Okay, to keep it?
And I thought I could partner with someone, or someone could buy it with me. I don't know. I just wanted to tell people I had no clue. I didn't even have a goal. Like I honestly was not all there. I just knew if I could, someone can tell me. And so I went to the real estate groups and showed people, and they're like, Jarrod, stay away from this thing, stay away from this thing. It's a lot of work, this and that. But I found someone who would be willing to buy it, and their inspector in there got an inspection on the property, and it was going to be in a wholesale, and he said, assign it to me and you can make 10 grand. No way. And then come to find out, after him doing his inspection, he needed to be at $10,000 less than what I had it under contract for. Not only was I not going to make anything, but so I ended up showing the seller, and the foundation was bad. Like, they had like one of those emergency car jacks holding up the pier and beam foundation under the house.
Oh, wow.
Like, it needed work.
Yeah.
But I had took the information I got from the other guy and met the homeowner at it was like a little deli area in the grocery store, and walked him through and said, hey man, we'd still love to work with you. Here's what we found, and this is why we can't offer you this. And I just thought the deal was dead, but I felt like I owed it to him to tell him what I had found. And he said, man, it was him and his sister that owned it. And they went home and talked about it and called me, and they took my second backup offer.
Nice.
Or the renegotiation, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I made and after that it went smooth. The buyer put earnest money down, and I made $9,550, and I thought, like, I'm the king of the world. I'd never seen that much money. The most money I ever had to my name by that point was like $2,000. It was bananas.
This was your first deal, like, with your first handful of leads even, and you made almost 10 grand. Yeah, dude, that's the power of real estate, and the power of, like, not quitting, right? Because a lot of people quit in this business. It's hard, obviously, and shit goes wrong and stuff goes right, stuff goes wrong all the time. But how powerful is it that, like, you having no freaking clue what you were doing, like what you were telling us, and you made 10 grand like that. And it also sounds like it's the power of networking. How important is finding the right person? All those people told you no, 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 and the one guy or girl was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's figure out a way to do it. And then you had the strength to go and have that conversation in person with the dude and his sister to say, hey, I can't do it at this price. I made a mistake, or whatever. Not a mistake, but like, after
and here's what we found. Yeah,
here's what we found. How important is transparency and just being candid and open with homeowners? Hey, you got that lesson very early on, but like, how important is it to you in your business today?
Critically. And thankfully, after I did like 4 deals, and then I joined Tom Kroll's Wholesaling Inc. Actually, I joined TTP first.
Okay.
Anyway, but and that's where I had Tom Kroll. And then right after I joined, that's when Tom Kroll left. It was so funny. But one thing he said is, the thing that you're like not wanting to tell the seller, you should hit the seller square in the eyes, and that's what you should say.
Yeah.
And meaning not necessarily show your hand, so to speak, like, hey, I'm about to buy your house for X and then resell it for Y. Not necessarily that, but like, if there's issues, or if you're having trouble being able to perform or something like that, tell them immediately.
Yep. Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I just, it's easier. It's a lot easier to live with a clean conscience, let me tell you. So it's not worth like running the clock down and trying to come up with a solution last second or back out of it. I've done that once.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly 2020. So I was still not even a year into the business, maybe barely a year. I had just could not find a buyer, couldn't find a buyer, and I didn't say anything to the seller. And then like the day before closing, I backed out of the contract, which, by the way, don't ever do that. That's the wrong thing to do.
Yep.
But that's what I did, and it just soured everything. And of course, it didn't leave a good reputation. So I'm sure if that seller ever talks about me, whatever. Yeah. But I've since remedied that. We don't do that. But
right. I remember sometimes not getting what we wanted and like eating $2 grand, $5 grand, whatever it was, just so that didn't happen. But yeah, 100%, man, like setting how important nowadays, like flash forward to now, Jarrod. So we talked about kind of your first deal. You're probably well nuanced today because you're doing like creative car trades with like homes. But like, for those listening out there that are where you were back then when you're 20, I think you said you're 27, 28 years old, like setting expectations and being super transparent to not ever get caught doing, shady stuff. How important is that initial conversation that around expectations of like what you may or may not do with their property?
It's the more that you are able to guide them and be a consultant or a counselor, that's building real rapport with the seller. We talk about that so much in the industry when we teach others and this and that.
Yeah.
And that comes from being an authority. An authority is one that can actually do stuff and like understands and knows. So for us, we've actually noticed that the business got better and more efficient, the more clear and upfront
Yes.
and all of that we work with the seller, not the other way
Yeah.
around.
Yes.
Like they trust us more. They understand like if stuff goes sideways because of how clear we've been, how fast we communicate. And so we've totally turned it on its head. And like, there's always another deal. There's always this and that. So I don't have to like think that one, if I don't get it, it's like the end of the world,
Yeah.
whatever, or if something goes sour on it, because stuff happens. Like there's stuff that pops up, sellers ghost you, whatever. There's things that happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to keep my conscience very, very clear about the deal, about my relationship with the seller, what our expectations are, how we perform, all that. And so it's critical. Like it's number one. If built, your word is everything. So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah, man.
million and one ways to profit.
Yeah.
What matters is your
Yeah.
integrity.
And the key part there that you touched on earlier is like it's a reputation. Like if you're shady, word will get out that you're shady. People won't want to work with you, buy from you, partner with you, etc. So I love that. Jarrod, I know we're coming up on time here, but let's talk about like now flash forward, you've been doing this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're implementing AI to help you. Like touch on that. Like how are you integrating or infiltrating AI in your day-to-day operations here?
So it started because there was bottlenecks in my business that I wanted to fix. And just like anyone else, I would use AI basically as like the new way to use Google. Like you just ask it stuff.
Yeah.
And it's even like a thought partner, like, hey, ask me questions about this and that. And that was really helpful. And it's still, I do that all the time. But I discovered that you can have AI build things and do stuff. And so now I'm at a program, platform, whatever you want to call it, that listens to all of our sales calls. So we record everything. And so they listen to all of our conversations with sellers at different points in the sales process. And it grades us on like this. It gives us this 10-point grading system based off of the whole conversation. It reads the transcript and understands so many nuanced things. And we fed it over 100 points of source material, like webinars, training, seminars, coaching courses, our own
Yeah.
business, all of that, everything we've learned over the last 7 years, and it's sunk into this thing. And so now it listens to every call, and it's like a sports team reviewing film after their games to see what went well, what went bad, things to improve. But what I've noticed is it's generating this profile of any sales rep in the company. So it's right now I've got an acquisition manager doing it all. But I've got to see things that were blind spots previously because I wasn't going through and listening to every single call of his. No way. But this does, and it
Yeah.
gives me a full, very granular report. And it's built like, anyway, it gives patterns like, hey, 10 out of the last 15 calls had these weaknesses. This is a recurring thing. Let's drill that.
Nice.
And man, it's tightened our sales process up. It's wild. I've built another thing
Jarrod,
where
are you
it
using it
helps.
for internal operation efficiencies
Yeah,
or gain or a
100%.
public facing as well, or both?
Well, I built it like it's solving problems in my business. That's why I built it. However, the more I'm talking about this, the more people are like, I didn't try to make software to sell, but the more I'm talking about it, the more like, Jarrod, I need that in my business. How do I get that? And so I'm working on building a way for like have a login and you can upload your own calls and basically do it as a software, like
Very
another
cool.
software that we use. Dude, it's cool. I've even made it like they've got achievements, like, and there's levels. So it's basically like a character in a video game. You could get to see how your
Yeah.
sales persona gets to level up, and as you accomplish things, you get these little achievements that shows like stars and things and whatever.
Very cool.
I'm a big gamer, and so that resonates with me and kind of our team. But
Yeah,
I just
man.
built a problem to solve. I mean, I built a solution to solve a problem in our business, and other people have the same problem.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people out there listening have what the heck are my guys and gals saying on the phone? So that would be a really cool thing. We'll include some information on that in the description here too. But Jarrod, if someone wants to reach out to you, like if they're in Texas or just want to talk about that tool that you had mentioned, like how does someone reach you? How do they find you? How can they connect?
Find me on Facebook and Instagram. Jarrod Frankum is my handle. just the way it's spelled here.
Okay. Pretty simple. Do you have a website or anything like that, or is that the easiest,
Not
simplest way?
right now. Stuff is so new. I should get a website built for all this, but yeah, right now Facebook and Instagram is the best way.
Very cool. All right, one last question before I let you go here. What is something that you can share, excluding the tool, in case people are interested in that? So excluding
Yeah,
this,
of course.
with your that anyone listening can take with them to better their life, their community, or their business, like a book, a checklist, a resource.
Yeah, always be on the lookout to see opportunity. And when I say that, not to be not to capitalize on someone, so to speak, but see where there's something missing in someone's life, or someone that could be basic stuff, and see how that you can improve whatever's there. If you can figure out, man, I can improve this, like it's in my skill set, it's in my wheelhouse, it's accessible to me, I can make a difference here, take advantage of it. Because that is, one, how you improve your character. Two, it's how you improve your relationships with people. Three, it's monetizable because you're providing value where there's need. And if that becomes who you are, like, I am a problem solver, or I find where things could use some help and I go help there, whether or not you get compensated or not. But having that part of your character, it will revolutionize everything. The relationships you build, the way that you're able to handle your own problems in life, how you respond to things, you get to see the solution rather than like being weighted down by a struggle.
Right.
Well, that will go so far.
Awesome, man. Well said. Well, Jarrod, thanks again for sticking through all the scheduling mishaps and cancellations on, I guess, both ends. But I'm glad that we finally got to shoot this. Stick around for 2 seconds afterwards, but appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Later.